Episode 8. We can breathe a little bit, let our shoulders drop. You know, we still got a lady in the room, so make sure you're on your best behavior. Cameras in the classroom. Are you for it or against it? And be careful because we just might get fired. You know, I know a lot of teachers who feel some sort of way about this one, but Miss McMillan, you look like you got the giggles over there with this one. Tell us about it. You for it or against it? Cameras in the classroom.
Cameras in the classroom. I'm gonna have to say I am not for that. I am not for it. I feel like the classroom is my domain. Okay. And it's what I say goes. And just in my 2 years of experience, I think I can almost get to a point where, you know, I'm not always sure what I say in there. It's weird. It's weird.
Straight up.
That's my domain, and it's points in the time where I'm in the classroom by myself, and I might be listening to music. That's just like my room, and I don't want people recording me what I do in my room. I'm singing in the classroom. I'm
thinking if they did it, they would do it CCTV without the sound. You know, definitely without the sound. You know,
so, I mean, but I'm weird, man.
Catch McMillan in there moonwalking across the
Right.
It's stuff that I do when I'm by myself that
wait, you do that at work?
In the class,
you in there shooting Usher music videos or something? You in there, you know, letting it burn or something?
I'm just saying, and also when the kids are in the classroom, you know, we have different type of relationships. I feel like when something cut off camera, you can spin it one way or you can spin it another way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of the teachers that are like harm the kids in any way, but we have our own relationships that I don't want my entire expert time to be filmed. I just don't. It might work better for parents, but I'm a teacher. And if I was a parent, I probably would want to like know what's going on in the classroom. But I mean, you gotta trust the teacher though. I mean, I got hired for a reason because I know I'm high on my ethics. I just think some things are better not recorded. So I'm gonna have to say no. I'm good on the recording in the classroom. They good in the hallway. It's good in the hallway in the other places.
Okay. I mean, I feel that too. I understand because, you know, you walk in my room at the wrong time, you definitely gonna hear something out of context. But all right, Brian, what you got for us?
I'm really 50-50 because I don't know if y'all know it, but up at the high school they already kind of tried to slide them up in there. They'll slide one in there in the corner and, you know, hey, this week we're gonna watch your instruction. We're gonna give you tips on your instruction.
They did us like that too. Yeah.
It's like, so you watching me or the kids? My instruction is, don't get me wrong, my instruction is pivotal, but it's also built on the kids are. And like, I know, I'm telling you, if you put that camera over there, what you see one period, you ain't gonna see the next because I got a different, so from kid to kid and from class to class, I have to adapt. And you might not like what you see, be honest. And, you know, as a parent, like, I'm thinking, you know, about to send my little one to kindergarten. Do I want cameras in the classroom? I'm like, so I can get mad when I see another little kid hit my son and be really mad at work. Like, you know, it's gonna be out of context, and I don't know if my son hit him in the highway. He said something like, it's gonna be audio, and it's just, I feel like it's gonna create more problems than it's ever going to solve. And I'm not even necessarily against it because I can see the value in you being able to see me teach and me be able to go watch my videos of me teaching, and seeing the value in being able to have another eye on the kids at all times. But my thing is, you ain't gonna catch everything. Because as soon as that camera's up there, they're gonna learn the blind spots. People do it all the time. I'm gonna learn the blind spots. I'm gonna put kids in positions to where if I gotta put that elbow in his neck, you know, so, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to lean on, I gotta do it, you know, right up under the camera. You feel me? Flex space or whatever. Like, so we already got cameras in the building. They ain't catching half of nothing. So put it in my room and still catch half of nothing. And it's just, it feels far more punitive, especially for me, than it would be helpful. I see the value of cameras in my classroom. You're talking to someone who records his lessons personally. So with my kids in the school, you know, I at least record one, and usually the one I'm feeling the best about is my class that's the quietest. I recorded that one myself on my room computer, and it's there for the kiddos.
Oh, I got something. Hold up. You brought up something. I wanted to share something with y'all real quick.
You think? Pop in.
So what this old teacher told me, She said, whenever you get in your observation, and I scooted up close because I want only y'all to hear this. Whenever you get in your observation, and you know you got that one kid, right? She said, you got to work it out with the teacher next door or your partner teacher and say, hey, when you see this kid come with this blue piece of paper, just let him stay in here about 30 minutes and then you can send him back. But you ain't hear that from me. We just might get fired.
That is an old trademark secret. I think even your evaluator tell you you can't send them to you to report the teacher. So I think you could.
See, my I don't know, my evaluators this year would have wanted, they would have, we had that episode. We couldn't air that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But all right, Blue Allen, tell us about
Ain't
it.
no one ever told me that. Like, I feel played. Like,
Oh man, that's in your teacher resource book. You make them stack them books and then you can make them move them across the hallway. Cameras in the classroom. You know what? I don't see a big deal about it, whether they're in the classroom or not. I guess from my perspective, my kids and I have a lot of girl groups that I do with some of my students. I coach, so sometimes I'm a quick change artist in my room. I definitely don't want nobody, taking steal shots and then try to sell them back to me for $3, $4, $5 million, because they highly worth it. But I do see the value as far as we have parents now who ride with their kids. I mean, I ride with my kid, but I know my kid's character. So if you tell me something about, oh, your kid did this, and the propensity for my kid to do that exists, then I'm gonna be like, okay, what's going on? But we have parents who know their kid is off the chain, has zero home training. I'm talking about both, first of all, and they argue back and forth like, no, my kid didn't do that. And they said that they were sitting down. And at that time, I'm like, man, I wish there was a camera in the classroom, because some of these kids give teachers the blues. I'm not saying they give me the blues, because we have that conversation from day one. But there's some situations that I know that a camera in the classroom would have saved some of my mentor teachers, some of my mentees. I lost a lot of great first-year teachers because of student discipline. And when they would call the home, the parent didn't have their back, because the kid would say, oh, Mom, it wasn't me. But if we had video evidence, unless there's Shabba Ranks, it wasn't me, then we could have something to kind of fall back on. Because they'd be quick, that ain't me. Look, he got a gun, I got a box, so it just, I think it makes a difference. And honestly, I'm gonna be real about it. We have some teachers that sit in the classroom who are just drawing a check. How different could you be engaged in your content and engaging those kids if you knew that somebody was watching? If you know as a 7th grade teacher that I'm waiting for you as an 8th grade teacher to prepare these kids with fidelity, to be able to quote off the equation for photosynthesis, but you sitting behind your desk most of the day, or you just letting them do book work, how much differently would it be if you knew that I was watching, or somebody was watching all the time?
I knew they got serious. I knew they got serious when I seen her neck do like this.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, she's speaking from experience now. This is no longer just a thought. This is what's really going on.
Yeah.
Dang, but I feel like because of our profession, we should like monitor ourselves though. I don't feel like I need to. I'm just talking about me. I don't feel like I need to be monitored in the classroom for me to be on my best behavior, because I'm teaching students. I'm responsible for a lot in their life as a teacher.
Yeah.
They learn a lot of people learn more from their teachers than they learn from anybody else. And you gotta take this profession like that. I don't need somebody watching like over my shoulder for me to be on my P's and Q's. I can handle that myself. And I feel like we as teachers should all be like that. I understand that that's not the case, but I mean,
look how many people have slipped through the crack. You know what I'm saying? Look how many we have this inappropriate student to teacher relationships. Like, and some of this, I would say sometimes it could be made up, sometimes it couldn't. But what I'm saying is that not everybody comes into the profession with a genuine heart. I told you from the get-go, your heart was genuine from the first day I talked to you. I knew that you was there for a reason. But there's a lot of people who use education as a fallback on. Oh, I couldn't cut it in this business world. I couldn't cut it out here selling purses and perfume. So I'm just going to go teach the kids, because believe it or not, $40,000 is better than $0,000. So I'm just want to get in, and when they get in, they chill. And then we have kids that struggle. We say that all the time at the middle school level. Like, well, what did you do as intervention in elementary? Oh, they just told me to sit in the classroom and I was gonna pass. Are the cameras gonna bag that story up, or are they gonna show where the teacher was with you and you was just trying to talk the whole time? Sometimes we need that video evidence to either support or to break down that argument. But if you're a great teacher, you're gonna do your thing with or without the camera. You know how my classroom goes. We have wrestling matches in there at some point in time. So you have to be able to, what you do in the dark should also be able to be done in the light.
All right.
Piggyback, like I can hear your pride when you speak, Ray. I was like, "Ooh, yeah, no, everybody ain't got that." Like I'm hearing him, like, "Yeah, he's serious about this. Like, I don't need nobody to look after me." You're right, you don't. But who can we say that about your neighbor and the person next to them and the person that, like, I got a couple people at the school, cool people, like good people, good teachers. But like one teachers, November, he was like, "I'm done." And it was evident in his kids' scores. It was evident in him. He was like, but he's such a fire teacher. It was like, you knew, like everyone knew, them kids gonna do it good enough where they ain't gonna be able to do nothing to him. But on his standard, based on what he had done previously, it wasn't the same. But he was done.
You just said he was done. We knew he was done.
Mm-hmm.
The AP should knew he was done, right?
But you gotta have something, like, again, he was good. He knew I'm gonna do the bare minimum because he ain't no rookie. See, like me, I can't do that. I'm still fighting every day, grinding. I can't. I'm too new. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go in there. I gotta go hard. You feel me? He had already been through the battles and was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this much. And they was trying. They tried to hit with paper. He'd be like, no, because this right here. Nope. And so he knew. But them kids, some of the kids, it showed.
First off, I'm all for teachers playing the game. Like, play the game by all means. But I'm not gonna say I'm on the fence, man. To be honest, man. Before I talk about these cameras, I want to talk about the phones first, because those are cameras in the classroom already.
On point.
I gotta get the phones out of the classroom first. My niece's school, they figured something out. They let the kids have their phones in the morning before school, and then they let everybody go to their locker, before class start, and everybody put the phones in the locker, right? You can only come back and get it on your lunch, and then at the end of the day. And so I tried to, mention that, because there was a lot of teachers at my school saying, yeah, these phones are just, they kicking our butt, can't compete with them. Kids getting slick, I'm taking so many phones, parents coming and getting them. They paying the $10, the $15, the $20, it go up every time. Phone right back in the kid's hand. So that's the first camera I need out of my classroom. Like that teacher in November, I need them out of there, quickly. But I'm all for the CCTVs. You can have it in the classroom, because I do my job. I'm like you, Mr. McMillan. I don't need you over my shoulder. Mm-hmm. You can't sneak up on me because I'm in my room every day, whether I'm tired or not, doing something productive. Now, like Blue Allen, it may be a crossword puzzle, but that's because we on a brain break, And so I throw a little fun in there, because even I get tired of talking about teaks and stuff, So I need a break from it at times. But I'm okay with a CCTV in my classroom, because my thing is I can talk without moving my lips, and so I could say some pretty tough things. And what evidence do you have of what I said? Okay, I can sit here and literally just not move my lips and talk to you in a manner that they can't figure out what's going on. See what I'm talking about? And you do that to them kids, and I don't know what this kid talking about. Pull them in that blind spot, like you say, Brown, and hey, I'm gonna hit them with the Kanye shrug. But I'm for it. I say bring them in there, because I think there are too many things that go unexplained, that we depending on these young kids to be able to tell us what's going on, which is already a terrible source, And then we also having a teacher who is fearful of their job tell us another jaded version of the story too. So, I mean, if you had a camera, at least just the camera, no sound maybe, but just the camera, then you can start to put things in a better perspective, I think. But I'm all for it. I say bring it, because there are too many times where parents play crazy, you know. And I'm hoping that the camera can offset so many observations as well. You know, you can see student engagement in my video. You can see me doing my small groups in my video. You can see me doing just about everything you need, because I don't have to hear a good teacher to teach. I think if I can sit there and see the right thing, you can see scaffolding happen, right? You can see these good things. So I mean, I'm looking out for, like you, Blue Allen. You know, y'all upstairs, you know, the big wigs. You can sit down and watch my tape. Recruiting, you can watch my game tape. I'm a fit.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker to me if they have cameras in the classroom. You know, I can, you know, we'll be able to adjust. But I was told a long time ago. They told me, I forgot who said it, but they said freedom and security is on a pendulum. It's like on a scale. It's like the more freedom you have, the less security. The more security, the less freedom. All right. The best is when you in between. But I feel like, oh man, I just don't feel like everything should be recorded. But it's not a deal breaker. I mean, if they do end up having cameras in the classroom, then that'll just be what it is. But my opinion might change later on. But for right now, it is what it is.
And see, for you, who I know, you know, but been my boy for years, I have no doubt that after the first few weeks, you can shake back into your groove, you know, because at first it is kind of weird, because we had that happen to us. It was a whole little tight moment, because they said they were there for observation purposes of the students only. And I don't know if administration knows, but it's been like this, you know, for quite some time with teachers and administration, you know. So we didn't believe it, we didn't buy it. But when it comes to somebody like Mr. McMillan, you know, he may be off his game, because he's thinking like he's second guessing himself now at this point, you know, which I think is very unfair. And I know me too, that first day or so, I'm going to over enunciate every word, you know, just because I know it's a camera there. But after a while, I'm going to shake back into my groove and, you know, do my thing. And that's the most important, because if the teacher is not comfortable in that classroom, I don't care how good he or she is, no growth is going to take place. And I think I may have shared this with y'all before, but my professor said that. He asked me who was the most important person in the classroom. And I said, oh, it's the kids. You know, we're there for the kids. He said, BS, it's the teacher. If the teacher is not okay, the kids won't be okay. You know, and I think if administration could put that back at the forefront of their minds with empowering us with what we need, you can bring that camera, because I'm gonna blow the doors off the scores, you know. But that's something we'll talk about more in season 3. So, you know, I won't get up on my soapbox on that one. But,
Yeah,
but I did have another question for y'all too, though, and it kind of tied in with it, was the phones part. You know, I brought it up a little bit in mind. What about the cell phone part? And I got a good story on why you might change your mind. All right, just want to throw that out there with y'all for a second.
I think cell phones are a necessary evil. For a long time, I didn't have a cell phone. Then when you finally get one, you realize, oh, it's convenient. People can reach you. You have kids. But I think our kids are so auto-tuned into these phones. I mean, they take 30 seconds to learn a TikTok video, a dance step. And you mean to tell me that we've been studying chemical equations for 5 weeks and you still can't tell me which side is the product side? But what I found out though is when I put that same equation on a digital format where they had to use their phone, it was automatic. It was like, oh well, let me move this here. So I hate them with a passion, but I respect the level up game they bring to my teaching though, when it's done correctly, you know, and that does require discipline on the teacher's part, and a level of comfortability. Because if you're not comfortable with your kids having your cell phones out, if you're always the teacher that's fighting it, then it's not going to really go well for you.
It's a matter of flexibility, and I gotta start learning how to be flexible. Sometimes you can't fight the wave. Sometimes you can't fight the wave. You got to ride the wave. And that's where I've been messing up. So if they just can't, most of these kids, they ask me how to spell a word. They got a whole cell phone. I'm like, all of y'all, we download the dictionary app right now. So forget all these other apps. We about to download the dictionary app. All right, and we just gotta. They don't know how to search for information. They got all the information they need in their hand. And I think that's what this quarantine is gonna teach them. And I'm hoping that it stick with them because man, they got everything they need. And if they learn better on the cell phone, then I gotta just switch my classroom and make the administration understand that this is the route we're gonna see, and we gonna see it's gonna be.
Yeah, I've definitely incorporated that one. I'm not even gonna bluff. Like, I had to incorporate it because I honestly didn't feel I had the support I needed to get it out of my classroom 100%. So I had to just deal with it, incorporate it. So I mean, quizzes, Kahoot, brain breaks, stuff like that. It's in there. It's embedded in there. But you got to earn it in my classroom. Awakening moment for me when I was substitute teaching. I was in this affluent neighborhood, and it was for English. Matter of fact, that's what's so crazy. There were literally 34 kids in this class, and I may have shared this with y'all before too. 34 kids, okay? 33 kids had the latest iPhone, okay? I had the oldest iPhone in the classroom. The last kid, the 34th kid, had the newest Galaxy Note at the time. And so I'm reading the instructions of what the teacher left for them, and it was on Google Classroom. And so after I read the instructions, I'm trying to figure out why nobody really moving to get a Chromebook or something. But I saw everybody digging. All of them pulled out their cell phone, going to the assignment on their phone. And I'm like, hey, hold on. Hey, put the phones up. And this little girl looked at me like I was just the dumbest person in the world. This is where we do the work, sir. You know, I didn't really share that part much because I felt like this big. But that's what the reality was, you know, like we all
hit you with a disrespectful sir. This is what we do to work, sir.
Yeah, she hit me with that sir at the end.
Yeah,
you know, it's just where we going at this point in time, and I hate it, to be honest, because it feel like I'm competing with it as a teacher. You know, I cannot hold their attention as well as TikTok can. You know, and we didn't get as many choices, you know, as this generation has. So they also have a sense of entitlement, you know, as well. So it's like, I don't know how it goes at your house, but in this classroom, that's not going to work, you know? So I'm struggling too, McMillan. Like, I haven't figured it completely out, but please, somebody help us out. Because these cameras in the classroom with phones or CCTVs, I think it's only a matter of time, man. Like, I think it's going to be some small town district. Like, either it's going to be a really big district, like, you know, the one we're in, or it's going to be a really small district in a town that we haven't heard of to do it first. And if it does well in our huge district, then everybody's going to do it. But if that little bitty district does it and it does good, I think then those mediocre districts will hop on immediately, but it's still going to take a while before it comes to the bigger ones, because the cost is going to be the most important part. But there'll be a lot of back and forth because of privacy and you know, parents being these PAPs. I don't know if we discussed PAPs. Do I need to tell y'all what that acronym is for? But it's a lot of those, you know. So I feel like we just losing battle. You don't know the PAP? Somebody help this kid out.
I'm gonna text it to him. We don't want to put it in the chat.
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
We don't want to do
that. Yeah. Get them for me, Mr. Brown.
I got you. I'm gonna send it to him.
All right. Anything else? Anybody got anything they want to throw out there before we get out of here?
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you. You asked for somebody with a solution to the cell phones. I don't have a solution. But my mentor teacher is one of the teachers. She just refuses no cell phones in her class. Literally the first month of school, multiple kids get multiple absences and usually have attendance for credit because she does not let them in until they give the cell phone. She has a bucket. You put in a bucket with a sticky note with your name. Close the bucket. She locks it. That's it. And that's a fight that she goes through. I incorporate the phone. So instead of fighting the phone is my ally. There's a point in time when I'm up speaking, when I'm giving instruction, I have a nice X that's on my board. When I turn and that X is visible, there are no phones allowed in the classroom. As soon as I'm done and we're going into the instruction, I will then turn that X to a big check mark. The check mark is shown, you can have your phone. And what it is, instead of telling them they can't have their phone ever, it's they know, I'm gonna be quiet, he's gonna do what he needs to do, I'm gonna get my phone back. And whether they are engaged. And really what happens is even if they don't want to be engaged, they're engaged because they're listening for the stop. They're like, okay, so it's going to be done. All right. And so
But
then
the
at that
issue
time,
with
I know
you have to be on the same page though. It can't be from
it's a part of classroom management.
That's the whole
it is. Well, it has to be because come on, you know my situation. They're coming from the top, bro.
We got to get a universal.
Building our own class. It would be nice. Universally, I'm like, tell them to put them somewhere, but we don't have lockers. They don't have. They're going to put it. So it's like, okay. So they have them, and we're a tech campus, and they leave laptops. They're dead. They break them. So it's again, I fought them all last year. That was one of the tasks I gave myself. I'm going to incorporate the cell phone. The cell phone is a part of this class. When we cover certain things in history, if I make them make calls, like there are things that I set up for them. It's like, you want to be on your phone? Cool. That phone, you're going to get sick of looking at that phone when it comes in this history class. To the point where I'd rather be on the computer. So when I get the phone, Mr. Brown be having us calling people. I don't be knowing them people. I don't be want to call this historian. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to call this person. I'm like, no. You want to have your phone. You want to be on the phone. Make that call.
Amen.
So it's make the phone your ally.
As you should. I mean, in today's era with all of these school shootings and emergencies, I think the phones are again a necessary evil. It's the most creative person will take that phone and make it its ally. How many phone numbers I've gotten for parents because I've made the kid call them from their phone. The parent answers, and so I think it's your classroom management. If the kid understands what your policy is and you're consistent with it, and that's where we go wrong as teachers sometimes. Sometimes we have a day off where we ain't feeling it. So the kids, I'm just gonna let them do whatever. Mm-hmm. So then the kids know that when you have a whatever day, that they can do whatever they want. But then when we have visitors and somebody comes in or you want them to be straight less focused on you, well, how do they know how to distinguish the two? Their brains don't work that quickly. We got to be consistent.
That's the conversation you gotta have. You gotta have that conversation before that visitor walk in at the start of the school year. But all right, episode 8.
You got visitor protocol, baby. Visitor protocol.
Level blue. All right, cameras in the classroom. Episode 8. We just might get fired, but we did not get fired today. Thank you, Ms. Blue Allen, for stopping in with us, Mr. McMillan, Mr. Brown, and we are out.